Hey, folks, welcome to InTheMoneyStocks.com's intraday analysis video brought to you by the creators of proprietary price, pattern, and time methodology. Learn the PPT strategies and profit for life. My name is Gareth Soloway, Chief Market Strategist here at InTheMoneyStocks.com. All right, guys, into the action we go today on this Tuesday, October 1st, 2013. Markets are up on the day. A lot of people are surprised at this because the government has shut down. How to explain it? Let's see. Well, from what my perspective is in looking at it today, you have to think that the market likes the objective that the government is fighting over this factor. So we're dealing in terms of the government kind of being funded as opposed to the debt ceiling, which is coming up in the mid-October session. So this is my belief right here, and this is what I think the markets are reading into. The markets are saying to themselves, listen, the Republicans are doing what they're doing now and holding firm so that ultimately when they do give and allow Obamacare to go through and everything and the government gets funded, then the president on the other side will give them cuts on the debt ceiling. All right, so it's give and take essentially, and this makes perfect sense to me. So ultimately, the Republicans are acting harsh here, so that they can get their way more so on the debt ceiling. All right, they're eventually going to give in on this, I believe, or some concessions will be made, but it'd be minor, and ultimately it'll be good for the debt ceiling because the debt ceiling should get solved relatively easily in comparison. Now, if the Republicans didn't fight this, they would have taken a harder stand on the debt ceiling, and I think that's the one the markets are very, very fearful of. So I think in terms of what I'm thinking and seeing, I think that's what we're looking at in this case, okay? So that's going on right there. Markets, again, had a nice move up in the morning session, have come in a little bit, but in all fairness, we're still having a good day. S&P's up 9, Dow's up 33, NASDAQ's up also 33. NASDAQ leading as Carl Icahn came out today and made some comments positive on Apple and his position in Apple, saying he has $2 billion worth of Apple shares, and that is quite a sum. So nonetheless, quite a little bit of a pop, a $10 pop on Apple here on the intraday session. Other stocks that are having good gains, you have Amazon up $6, JPM and Goldman both positive. Two stocks that are negative are Chevron and Exxon, and the answer there is very simple. You have oil down on the day. So oil's actually had a nice move off the lows today, but we are still down on the day, and therefore it's keeping oil stocks relatively weak. Couple other key stocks in motion today. Number one, let's take a look at Baidu. I think Baidu is one of the ones I want to focus in on today. If you go to the daily chart on Baidu, you've taken out this pivot high here from 2012 very easily, in fact, very, very easily. What I told members here at InTheMoneyStocks.com is that ultimately they're going to push this up to this high, and this is going to be your shorting opportunity. So you have a max move, extension move up here, as well as double top. I believe this is where you're going on BIDU, and that is where you can look to short it. So for me personally, I have an alert out for myself that when it gets in the 165 range, I will start analyzing for a potential entry on the short side of Baidu. Now, again, we want to see a straight shot up there, but if it does that, we should see some good action to the downside off of that level. My interpretation would be a pullback to 155 easily, and maybe even a second target down to about the 140 level. All right, so you're looking overall between first and second target, averaging them out around 10% decline off of that level. Okay, what else do we have going on here? We're seeing a lot of Chinese stocks doing very, very well today, guys, including Baidu. But we can just flip through a couple other charts. Sina up $3 and change. Big move on Sina today. SINA is another Chinese player here. You can see just over the last 30 minutes or so in the intraday, it's gotten quite a bid. In addition, Ren, which is kind of like the Chinese Facebook, having a very nice move today, up 33 cents, which is essentially 10% move on the day. And you're also looking at small cap players out there. I think CNIT was having a nice day today. Take a look at CNIT today, guys. Had a big pullback yesterday, but is bouncing back up about 10% today on the day, as well as a few other players out there. So a lot of the Chinese stocks, even LEDS, which is kind of like a semi-LEDs LEDS player, you have a nice pop here of about 12 to 15% on the stock. So really where my eye is focusing in on is the Chinese area. I do believe that there could be further gains in there. I'm not really looking at the Baidus because they're so pricey. More than anything, I'm looking at short Baidu when it gets up to that 165 level. But I'm looking at the smaller stocks that haven't really run yet. For instance, STV. This isn't one that I'm looking to enter right now, but it is on my radar. Little consolidation here off the lows. If you zoom out, look at where this stock used to be. So I mean, it's at the dead lows, essentially off them from just a little bit. Decent consolidation. Short term, you got to figure this is going to about $1.70 or so. I mean, I would guess that that's pretty much a lock. BORN, little tiny little play here. You can see it's at the dead lows here. If we zoom out, I mean, look at where the stock has been, and zooming back in, just starting to get some play now. The volume's a lot better over the last few days. As you can see, yesterday had very, very nice volume on a little bit of an upturn. So again, I'm just kind of eyeing these plays at this point, not necessarily looking too hard at them, but it is something I'm going to keep an eye on. So that's what we have going on there, guys. A couple other stocks I want to mention here, and I want to explain these next few plays. Let's take a look first and foremost at Facebook. So Facebook's down today. I predicted Facebook would be down today, or at least not pushing up like it has been. And the answer is very simple as to why. So essentially what you got into the end of the quarter was window dressing, right? So window dressing, does everyone know what window dressing is? That's where these funds, it could be a hedge fund, it could be any type of fund, that hold stocks. They window dress by putting in the best performers of the quarter into their portfolio on the last couple days of the quarter. When the investor who was investing in the fund, the average person out there gets the statement from the fund, they look at it and they say, oh man, these guys own Facebook. They don't know when they bought it. And so, yeah, it was the last day of the quarter or 2 days before the end of the quarter, but the person who's viewing the statement, who's the investor in that fund, does not know when they bought it. They don't get an entry date, right? So that's what window dressing is, where the fund manager essentially fools the investor by putting in the best performers on purpose to try to get them to think, oh, they own Tesla the whole quarter. Oh, they own Facebook the whole quarter. That's awesome. I'm so glad that they're smart enough to be in those. Okay? And so once the quarter's done, then that buying pressure is subsiding, right? So even with a positive market today, Facebook's actually down on the day. Now, it's not down much, but remember, the markets are up. So in comparison, that's actually a pretty solid move. So the markets are having a good, strong day, especially the NASDAQ, and Facebook's flat to negative here. If you look at Tesla, same thing's going on with Tesla, down 77 cents. Off the lows of the day, as you can see early, it really dumped out. But in my opinion, you might see a little bit of early money flowing in the new quarter into some of these things, but they should pull back, and they should pull back decently. So just a little another tidbit that I always like to impress upon our viewers in terms of understanding really, how the system works, how the Wall Street works. It's time to lift the veil from your eyes and be able to see the truth behind the markets. Okay? So in any case, that's what you have going on there. A couple stocks that I'm keeping an eye on here. One of them I picked up some shares in today. I'll show it to you guys. This STEX, I did pick up some shares in this. I like this down here. It's starting to get a little play. And that's Stereotaxis. And it's kind of like a small cap medical device player or whatnot. But this thing had this huge move up from basically $1 to $52 all the way back to 11, and now it's really consolidating. And I think this should actually pop to about the $4 level. That's my interpretation, is that we should pop to about $4. And again, I am in it right now. I picked it up today. My entry was actually 336 entry, and from what I'm seeing right now, it's trading at 335. But what I'm seeing is, again, it should eventually make a move up towards that $4 level, maybe even more. But really, the 50 MA is where you're going to start to look for resistance, right around $4. Okay. What else do we want to talk about? Anything else on the radar today? I think that's about it. Exxon, Chevron still down. Pretty much everything else is positive. Apple's still doing good. Google having a great day as well. Baidu, we talked about that as well. Financials are not super strong, but they are slightly positive, so they're hanging in there as well. All right, guys, I got to get going. Bottom line is, take the 7-day free trial here to themoneystocks.com. I'm giving out swing trades all the time. The swing trade I put out yesterday and bought yesterday, take a look at it, XONE. Look at this. So we bought XONE yesterday right off of this beautiful little gap fill pivot. And look at it today, up $2.28. So we're already in the money, essentially $2 on this. It's a beautiful move, and I think you're going to get more out of it. But, hey, being up $2 on a trade in one day, that's not bad. On a $40 stock, that's almost a 5% gain on a swing trade in one day. All right, have a great afternoon, great evening, folks. As always, come join us here at InTheMoneyStocks.com. Take the 7-day free trial. Take care.